In 2021, a company in Austin, Texas printed a fully habitable two-bedroom house. 4 walls, a roof, plumbing conduits, electrical channels, and a finished interior in less than 24 hours, using a single machine operated by a crew of 3 people. The total material cost was under $4,000. A comparable house built using conventional construction in the same city would have taken 4 to 6 months and a crew of dozens of workers. And that Austin house is not an experiment anymore. It is lived in. People sleep in it, cook in it, raise families in it. Hundreds more like it are being printed right now on 3 continents, in countries facing housing crises so severe that conventional construction has simply run out of time to solve them. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how it's built. The global housing crisis is one of the defining challenges of the 21st century.
The United Nations estimates that 1.6 billion people currently live in inadequate housing, and that by 2030, the world will need 3 billion new homes to meet demand, a number so large that building them using traditional construction methods would require more concrete, more lumber, more labor, and more time than the industry currently has the capacity to deliver. The global construction industry is worth over $13 trillion annually, and yet it is one of the least digitized, least automated, and slowest to innovate sectors in the entire economy. Productivity in construction has barely improved in 50 years, even as manufacturing, agriculture, and logistics have been transformed by automation. 3-dimensional printing of buildings, a technology that eliminates formwork, reduces material waste by up to 60%, slashes labor requirements, compresses construction timelines from months to days, and allows virtually any geometry to be built without additional cost, is not just a technological curiosity. It may be the only solution that scales fast enough to matter. Everything begins with the ink.
In desktop 3-dimensional printing, the material is a plastic filament or a resin. In building-scale 3-dimensional printing, the material is a specially engineered concrete mixture, and getting that mixture right is more complex than anything the conventional concrete industry has encountered before. Standard construction concrete is designed to be workable for hours, giving crews time to pour, vibrate, and finish it before it sets. Printable concrete has an entirely different set of requirements that pull in opposite directions simultaneously. It must be fluid enough to pump through pipes and extrude through a nozzle without clogging, but stiff enough to hold its shape the instant it is deposited, because the next layer will be placed on top of it within minutes, and if the material is still flowing, the layers will merge into a shapeless mass rather than building up into a precise wall. This property is called open time, the window between deposition and structural stiffening, and controlling it to within seconds rather than hours is the central materials engineering challenge of the entire field.
The concrete mixtures used in construction 3-dimensional printing are based on Portland cement, the same binder used in conventional concrete, but with a cocktail of additives that would be unrecognizable to a traditional concrete mixer. Accelerators, typically calcium aluminate or sodium silicate compounds, speed up the initial stiffening reaction without triggering the full hardening process, giving the material its rapid structural green strength. Viscosity modifying agents, cellulose ethers, starch ethers, or synthetic polymers, control the flow behavior during pumping and extrusion. Microsilica and fly ash, industrial byproducts of silicon smelting and coal combustion, respectively, partially replace cement to improve workability, reduce shrinkage cracking, and lower the carbon footprint of the mix. Steel fibers or synthetic polymer fibers are added to provide tensile strength and crack resistance, since concrete printed in layers without conventional steel rebar reinforcement must derive its structural integrity from the material itself.
The exact recipe for a printable concrete mix is a closely guarded proprietary formulation for every company in the space. It is, in many ways, their most valuable intellectual asset, and the mixing process must be precise to within fractions of a percent for each ingredient, because an off-ratio batch behaves differently enough to cause a print failure. But this is where things get interesting. The machine that deposits this material is nothing like a desktop printer. A construction 3-dimensional printer is a robotic gantry system or a robotic arm mounted on a mobile platform with a print envelope, the volume of space it can reach, that must encompass the entire footprint of the structure being built. Gantry-based systems use a frame of steel beams spanning the building site, with a print head that travels in 3 axes along the gantry, guided by a computer-controlled motion system accurate to within a few millimeters across spans of 10, 20, or even 30 meters.
The print head extrudes a continuous bead of concrete through a nozzle typically 25 to 50 millimeters in diameter, following toolpaths generated by software that has converted an architectural 3-dimensional model into layer-by-layer instructions, the same process used to slice a desktop print file, but operating at a scale millions of times larger. The concrete is pumped from a mixing unit on the ground through a flexible hose to the print head, with the pump pressure and flow rate controlled to match the print speed exactly, because if the head moves faster than the material arrives, the bead breaks. If it moves slower, the material piles up and the layer geometry is lost. However, the next step changes everything. The most critical engineering challenge in building-scale 3-dimensional printing is not the machine, it is the layer bond. In conventional construction, concrete poured into a form bonds continuously through the full depth of the pour. In a printed structure, the concrete is deposited in discrete layers, each one a few centimeters thick, and the bond between successive layers is entirely dependent on the surface condition of the layer below at the moment the new layer arrives.
If the previous layer has stiffened too much, if the open time has expired, the new layer does not bond chemically to the old one. It simply rests on top of it, creating what engineers call a cold joint, a plane of weakness that can delaminate under load. If the previous layer is still too soft, the new layer's weight causes it to deform or collapse. The window between these two failure modes is sometimes as narrow as 2 to 4 minutes, and it must be maintained consistently across every layer of a structure that may be built over the course of an entire day. Managing this requires continuous real-time monitoring of the concrete's rheological state, its stiffness and flow behavior, using sensors embedded in the mixing and pumping system, combined with adaptive control algorithms that adjust the accelerator dosage in the mix and the pump speed to compensate for changes in ambient temperature, humidity, and material variability. Most people never realize that the geometry of a printed building is not simply a matter of aesthetics. The tool path, the path the print head follows to deposit each layer, directly determines the structural behavior of the finished wall.
A wall printed as a solid rectangle of concrete uses enormous amounts of material and is heavier than necessary. The most advanced printing systems instead print walls as a series of interlocking cells, a waffle, honeycomb, or double skin geometry, in which the outer and inner faces of the wall are connected by a web of printed ribs, creating a structure that is lighter, better insulated, and in some configurations stronger than a solid wall of the same material volume. The air pockets inside these cellular walls provide thermal insulation, a property conventional concrete lacks, and can be filled with spray foam or loose fill insulation after printing. The cellular geometry also allows the wall to accommodate the bending loads imposed by wind and seismic forces more efficiently than a solid section, because the geometry directs the loads into compression within the printed ribs where concrete is strongest. At this point, one engineering challenge threatens to limit the entire technology: reinforcement. Conventional reinforced concrete derives its structural capacity from the combination of concrete in compression and steel rebar in tension. In a printed structure, installing conventional rebar is difficult because it must be placed manually between printed layers as the build progresses, a process that interrupts the continuous printing cycle and reintroduces the labor that printing is supposed to eliminate. Several solutions are being developed simultaneously. The fiber-reinforced concrete mixes described earlier provide distributed micro-reinforcement throughout the printed material. Post-tensioning systems, high-strength steel cables threaded through channels left in the printed structure and tensioned after the concrete is cured, can provide the tensile capacity needed for structural spans. Some research groups are developing print heads that can embed continuous carbon fiber or steel wire reinforcement into the concrete bead as it is deposited, a process called co-extrusion, turning the printer into a machine that simultaneously deposits concrete and installs reinforcement in a single pass. Now, for the most impressive part of building three-dimensional printing,
the machines that are taking this technology off construction sites and into disaster zones, refugee camps, and the surface of the moon. NASA's MPACT project, Moon to Mars Planetary Autonomous Construction Technology, is developing a three-dimensional printing system designed to use lunar regolith, the surface soil of the moon, as a raw printing material to construct habitats for astronauts without transporting construction materials from Earth. The printer must operate autonomously in a vacuum environment at temperatures swinging between -170 and +130 degrees Celsius, using a binding technology that works without water, since liquid water cannot exist on the lunar surface. On Earth, Icon, the company behind the Austin houses, has developed a printer called Vulcan, and then its successor, which can print a single-story structure with multiple rooms and complex curved geometries in under 24 hours of continuous operation. The machine travels to the construction site on a flatbed truck, is assembled and leveled in less than an hour, and begins printing immediately. When the structure is complete, it folds back down and drives to the next site. The entire operational crew for a full building print is 3 to 5 people.
The quality control challenge in construction three-dimensional printing is a field that is still being defined because building codes in most countries were written for conventional construction methods and have not yet been updated to address printed structures. In the United States, printed buildings currently require individual engineering analysis and approval for each project because no standardized code pathway exists. To support these approvals, printed structures undergo a comprehensive battery of tests that goes beyond what conventional construction typically requires. Core samples are drilled from completed walls and tested for compressive strength, tensile bond strength between layers, water permeability, and freeze-thaw durability. Full-scale wall panels are subjected to structural load tests, loaded to failure in bending and compression, while instrumented with strain gauges and displacement sensors to demonstrate performance margins above the design loads. Ultrasonic pulse velocity testing is used to map the internal homogeneity of printed walls without destructive sampling, identifying any zones of reduced density or poor layer bonding that might indicate a weakness. In Europe, where several countries have already issued technical approvals for printed structures, the testing regimes are beginning to converge towards standardized protocols, a development that industry observers expect to accelerate adoption significantly. Here are the facts that reveal just how rapidly this technology is scaling. The world's largest three-dimensional printed building completed to date is a 2-story office building printed in Dubai, measuring approximately 9 meters in height and 640 square meters in floor area, completed in 2019 with a single printer running for 3 weeks. Saudi Arabia has announced plans to print 100,000 homes using construction three-dimensional printing technology as part of its Vision 2030 urban development program. A single procurement order that would represent more printed buildings than the entire rest of the world has produced combined. A company in the Netherlands printed a family home in concrete in 2021 that fully complies with Dutch building code and is occupied under a standard rental agreement, the first printed home in Europe to achieve full legal residential status.
The concrete used in construction three-dimensional printing produces approximately 50 to 70% less waste than conventional formwork construction, where the forms themselves consume enormous amounts of timber or steel that must be manufactured, transported, assembled, disassembled, and often discarded after a single use. The fastest documented full house print on record as of early 2024 is under 12 hours for a single-story structure of approximately 80 square meters, a home built in roughly the same time it takes to drive across the United States. The global geography of construction three-dimensional printing is forming around 3 clusters. The United States, led by companies in Texas, California, and Massachusetts, has focused on affordable housing applications and the NASA space construction program, with hundreds of printed homes now occupied across multiple states. Europe, particularly the Netherlands, Germany, Denmark, and Italy, has pursued a research-led approach with an emphasis on code compliance and architectural innovation, producing some of the most geometrically complex printed structures in the world.
China, where the scale of the housing challenge and the manufacturing capacity to support large-scale printer deployment intersect, has printed multi-story apartment blocks using systems developed by domestic companies, including Winsun, which in 2014 demonstrated the printing of 10 single-story structures in a single day, and has since moved to printing larger and more complex buildings for residential and commercial use. The supply chains supporting these clusters are converging on similar chemistries for printable concrete, with several specialized admixture suppliers, primarily in Germany, Switzerland, and China, providing the accelerator and viscosity modification systems that make high-speed printing possible. From a quarry where limestone is blasted and processed into Portland cement clinker, through mixing plants where fly ash, microsilica, polymers, and steel fibers are combined into a material that behaves unlike any concrete in history, through a robotic gantry guided by coordinates generated from an architectural drawing, layer by layer, in a rhythm timed to within seconds, a house emerges. Not poured, not framed, not assembled from prefabricated panels. Grown the way a coral reef grows, continuously, precisely, geometrically, from a material that starts liquid and ends as stone.
The family that moves into that house hangs pictures on its curved walls, plants a garden outside its printed doorframe. They are living in something that did not exist as a category of human shelter until this decade. A home that was not built, a home that was printed. Would you live in a three-dimensional printed house? Or does the idea of a robot building your home still feel like a step too far? Drop your answer in the comments. And if this video made conventional construction feel suddenly very old-fashioned, a like and a subscription helps us keep covering the technologies that are rewriting how the world gets built.